Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Failure Diaries Podcast. I'm excited to be here again. Your host Ayo Bankole Akintujoye. As you are aware that we have tons and tons of stories to tell. We bring you different types of professional business leaders, everyday people who share with us their challenges, setbacks, failures, everything that has happened on the other side of success or on the other side of their careers. Stories that will make you know that you are not alone in whatever challenge that you are going through, whatever mental health issue you are going through, whatever setbacks that you may have experienced. You are not alone on the journey. Everybody that you see that is building something has probably experienced exactly what you're going through. And that's exactly what we've started this this podcast to achieve, to help young people and everybody else who needs to hear it, to share those stories with you so that you are encouraged and you know that the journey, it can be steep, but the end game is what you should focus on. I have today another very interesting lady who has many faces and has been through different elements or different phases of her career, and I look forward to hearing along with you those parts. Hi Busayo, thank you for joining us. It's good to see you here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Busayo, tell us what you do by yourself. I don't want to be the one to tell what you do, and then from there you can then tell us your journey and how you got here.
All right. My name is Busayo, and currently I'm the Chief Operating Officer of the fastest thriving, growing pharmacy business in Nigeria. That's
people did not pay us for adverts, so I don't.
No, I'm introducing myself.
It's okay.
It's an introduction, and the truth is, I'm sure you would assume that I'm probably a pharmacist. But the funny thing is, I studied agronomy, and I pivoted to project management, and then eventually corporate management, which brought me to where I am today.
Interesting. Agronomy. What's that?
So you're really going to
study of plants and all these things. So you'd have been a herbalist.
No,
if you were to follow your career.
No, maybe a farmer.
But you are seeing line. At least pharmacy has some part of a way at Igbo, herbs and all these things. It's okay. You are in the line. How was growing up like for you? Where did you grow up? How did you get into agronomy? What were the challenges growing up, and how did that feed into where you are today?
Okay, looks like you really want to take me down memory lane.
Yeah, we like to hear it from the very start.
Okay, so I grew up in a family of 4, and it depends on who's asking.
4 from who? From your mom?
4 from my mom, yes.
How about your dad?
12. Yes.
A dozen children?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and
probably the second highest grossing, sibling owner that we've had on this show.
After who?
After a gentleman that his father had 15 children from numerous women. He couldn't even remember how many.
Well, the Bible said be fruitful and multiply. Yeah.
So how did that affect your growing up?
Okay, yeah. So I think what that taught me was the fact that nobody's coming to save you. Because our house was like a hostel when we were growing up.
You all lived together?
No. So, at the point that I was given birth to, at the point that my siblings and I, existed, every other person had grown up, right? And
are you the last born?
No, I'm the second to the last born.
Wow, number 11.
Absolutely.
Full football team that you made up. Wow.
Yeah. So, I lived with my mom. We grew up with my mom. But in spite of that, there were, circumstances and reasons that, created scenarios in such a way that our house became a hostel. My dad was very accommodating, as well as my mom. So, and imagine when you're growing in a house where you have a lot of people, and you just realize that you have to make sure that your voice is the loudest. So
it was a battle of the fittest, or the survival of the loudest.
So it was a battle of relevance. It was a battle of influence. It was an environment where you needed to project yourself, such that you would be seen.
So why did you need to always do that? So if I don't put, what was at risk?
I mean, so okay, for example, your food. Let's even joke about it right now.
Oh my God, this is hilarious.
So yeah, true. So imagine a house where you have about 9, 10, 11 people, at once, apart from, let's say, the
every
elderly.
time you cook.
Yeah, per time, and you have to be the loudest. Get your food, or your food gets
every
your food
day
gets taken. So it was that kind of house. It was that kind of house growing up. We had lots of cousins, proteges, mentees. We all lived in the same room.
Of your parents?
Yeah, of my parents. Yes, we all lived under one roof, and it was the kind of house that your voice had to be the loudest for you to, to get what you need, get what you deserve. For instance, food. You really had to.
I can just imagine.
So you had to be very loud to say, I'm hungry. You had to be very loud to say, that's my food. You have to be very loud to say, that's my stuff. So growing up taught me how to speak for myself, how to be daring about it. You also had to learn to tell people, no, don't do that. I don't want that. Please stop it.
Yeah. So, otherwise, you would always have people in your face, in your
exactly.
space.
So people were always in my space and in my face, and growing up taught me how to, be able to speak out, reject things, accept things, and choose and fight for things as well.
Interesting. So how did you get into, in your career, when you left agronomy, I struggle with people who go and study anything in agric, and are not farmers, but it's okay, we'll get there. So how did you then transition from there? So I know you've told us in terms of your career journey, the specialty, but in terms of work experience, how did you then move from agronomy? First and foremost, when did you choose to study agronomy?
Oh no, I didn't.
Or jammed you?
Jammed me. It wasn't even.
So how did you feel?
So it wasn't just jam that jammed me. So growing up, my dad thought I was going to be a doctor. I think my mom wanted me to be a lawyer. When we're growing up, those were the profession at the time. But I wanted to be an aeronautical engineer, right? I think I was reading a book. I liked it. I did my research about it, and I loved it. I loved the fact that there were engineers who were responsible for how aircraft functioned and all of that. So I wanted to do that. But at the time, I grew up in Oshogbo, for crying out loud. And the schools that were...
Oh, you did?
Yes, I grew up in Oshogbo.
Oshogbo. Wow.
State, yes.
You've come a long way.
and the schools that were, accessible at the time, either Lautech or OAU, or maybe, yes, you wanted to go to UI and all of that. So at the time, I did my research again, and what was close to it was maybe chemical engineering. So I did JAMB. And while I also did JAMB, my mom, as a chartered accountant, wanted me to be a chartered accountant. So after secondary school, I started doing my ICANN at that age. I started the ATS classes. And then I did JAMB. I think I had maybe 206 or something at the time. I was not even close to cutoff. So the other option was to, take the pre-degree program at Lautech. So I ran the pre-degree program. And once you do pre-degree in Lautech, your fate is not up to you. It's up to pre-degree. Yeah. Okay. So of course they would argue with me.
Would decide the
so
course
they would argue with me on this. But the way pre-degree worked as a then was everybody would be taking general courses, for about a year. And then we took an exam, and at that point they would then say, okay, based off on this person's score, you are going to fine arts, you are going to URP, you are going to engineering. So it was allocation. So agronomy was what was allocated to me.
Did you feel bad?
Of course I felt very bad, because I was like, agronomy,
that's what happened, your first point of
like what am I going to do with that? Even when I wrote
I felt like a failure at that time.
No, that's an understatement. Like
coming from wanting to do law, aeronautical engineering.
So the truth is, I must say that my mom comes from a family of farmers, right? My grandfather had a cocoa farm. So when I saw agronomy, I was like, this has to be my village at
your life.
So is it because my grandfather was a farmer? I have to, just go to. But I mean, it was really sad. I remember going to check because they would paste it somewhere, and then you would see yourself like this Busayo Adegoke, you know. So I felt very sad, but I mean, the other option was to maybe wait another year for JAMB,
which you were not ready to risk.
I was not ready to take that chance. So the thing for me was, okay, let me just take this and see how it goes. So that was how.
But you must have also, because I know LAUTECH at that time was also very notorious for strikes and delays and all of those things. Did you go through all of that?
Of course I did.
Because agronomy was 5 years, right?
Of course I did. So I finished from secondary school, that's FGC Lorraine, in the year 2003. And in FGC, I was very stubborn. In fact, stubborn is an understatement. So I was one of those people that that led rebellion in school. You know, I was very
notorious.
I was very stubborn. I want to use stubborn for the purpose of this. Okay. So I'll say stubborn.
Okay, if you insist.
So I wrote my WAEC and my NECO. Of course I failed. You know, I failed. And I mean, I could have combined both results, but at the time, my mom was a teacher then. She was a chemistry teacher. So I remember my mom saying...
Oh, your mom transitioned from teaching to...
Yeah, she transitioned from
accounting.
Being a chemistry teacher, you know, to being a chartered accountant, which is, I mean, another story. So at the time, my mom was... You could not tell my mom that you wanted to combine results because she was like, I'm a teacher. And
why would you do that?
So... I was sent to Unity School Ejigbo. You know when you go
Where
to
FGC
Lorraine, that's Osun State. You know when you went to federal government college and then you failed WAEC
like
and NECO, and my mom was like, we know how to deal with you. So I was sent to Unity School Ejigbo. So that was like a season of atonement for me, where I had to calm down, you know, and you know, and study and everything.
Pass.
Yeah. So I took, my WAEC and NECO, which I aced really well when I did it the second time. Of course, I didn't have a choice. And at the time, that was 2004, right? So I then now did pre-degree in 2005.
So you had lost about 2 years.
So I'd lost about 2 years already. And then I got admission 100 level in the year 2006. Right.
That was about 3 years.
That was 3 years. In fact, I had friends who, after we left FGC, they were already in Bowen, and that was like their second or third year in the university. So I was at the time just starting out in 100 level, and 2006.
To you must have felt, oh my God, I've lost life.
Yes. So, and in between that, there was the Osun State, Oyo State drama over the ownership of LAUTECH, the strike.
LAUTECH was terribly notorious for strikes then.
So, 2006, and then I graduated in 2011.
You know, there's an adopted daughter of mine who felt life was crumbling around her just because she missed admission in the first year, second year, in fact, just 1 year that she missed admission for. And, you know, that's why we did this, so that people can see that, look, people have been through these things. It's part of the phases of life. You will still come around. You know, you definitely will still come around. So when you were then in school and you left, how did you then get into being COO? How did you start off? Where did you start off?
Okay, so...
was it all rosy from the beginning?
No. So in 2011, when I left LAUTECH, I really... And my graduation from LAUTECH again, you know, another story, because I attended LAUTECH, and when I was about to graduate, I mean, you know, when you're in the university and you're having awaiting results, you know, there are some courses that you're expecting to get and all that. But so when I had a waiting result and I was still trying to figure it out, I thought the best thing to do was to, you know, intern somewhere. And one thing I'd always done was during every holiday, I would work somewhere, you know. I remember working in a microfinance bank in 2010, and my salary was 5,000 naira. Right?
Wow.
Yes.
Like 5K?
Yes, 5K.
In 2010?
Yes, in 2010.
Wow, that's insane.
And after that, I interned somewhere else. That was,
that's insane. A lot of your mates in 2010 by then would have started working.
Of course.
Especially those ones that went to Bowen.
Of course, those ones that went to private universities, you know. And then after that, so I left to intern in another company that was, you know, FMCG, in the FMCG industry. And my salary was 15,000. I felt like a rich babe, you know, from 5K to 15K, you know. And the funny thing is, now that I think about it, so this FMCG company was, they were selling rum and gin, right? Now, look at me right now, right?
You are selling go.
So picture me entering markets in Ife, in Ilesha, you know, and asking them to buy mini sachets of gin and rum. Yes. So I worked with that company. I was one of the merchandisers and the sales team. So I started out. But what I did was, as I was, you know, doing these internships, I was putting a CV together. And I was putting these experiences on my CV. So now, fast forward to when I graduated from the university. I mean, like you said, strike and everything was very prevalent in Lautech at the time. So every opportunity I had, even if it was a month strike, I would intern somewhere. I'd always done that. So by the time I graduated from Lautech, and I really wasn't sure when NYSC would be, I wanted to work somewhere as well. So I heard at the time that GTB was looking for interns and everything. So I applied. I went for the aptitude test and everything. And yes, I was shortlisted and I became an intern in the public sector group, you know, for the branch at the time. So I started, I think that was my first stint and taste of...
What year was that?
This was 2011, the same year I graduated. You know, so that was my first stint, my first taste of an actual work experience. So that environment shaped me, you know, and made me learn how to relate with people in a work environment. It taught me how to have a boss who you're probably older than, but you still have to do the job and put your emotions aside. So I was there, you know, interning. Then the NYC list came out, so I had to take a pause on that. And because the year I served, right, was the same time that government insisted that everybody had to teach. All corpers had to teach. So I served in Rivers State, and I served in a very funny community. I served in Kedere, you know, which is the Ogboni community axis. So I had to teach, I think, integrated science.
For a year?
Yes. So
wow.
I had to teach at the time. So after service, it was during service that I actually caught like my light bulb moment, because I mean I had a certificate.
Wait, so you left that GT?
Yes, I left GTB. Yes, to go
okay.
teach as a core member.
But how long were you in GT for?
So I was in GT for I think about 10 or 11 months.
Oh, that's
because I served in 2012, right? So and it was while I was serving that I looked at the experience I had in Guaranty Trust Bank, and then I looked at my certificates as, you know, someone who studied agronomy. And then I asked myself, do I want to work in Ministry of Forestry, or, you know, do I want to teach agri? You know, I looked at what was obtainable given a peculiar environment, the country. You know, I looked at people who had studied agri before me and what they were able to achieve working as civil servants. I mean, this is no offense to civil servants, but knowing where I came from, I actually wanted more, you know. So at that time, I knew I really wanted to work in a proper corporate environment. I wanted to, you know, to work in an organization where I could actually impact, you know, affect their numbers, affect their projects, affect their people. And at that point, I heard about project management during service. I think it was one of those, you know, NYSC meetings where they would just bring different people.
Yeah, they will bring all sorts of
Where they will bring all sorts of people. And the funny thing is, NYSC probably doesn't know that, you know, that thing goes a long way in helping people shape their career paths. So it was at that point I decided.
It helps a lot of clueless graduates.
In fact, the funny thing is, at the time there were options to learn bead making. I just told myself, I said, I don't want to learn how to make beads. I want to take, you know, a course in this. And I took a project management training at the time, and that was how I became really interested in project management. And then I went on, you know, to do a certification and all of that. And after that, you know, I then had to now start looking for jobs. But you know, the funny thing, at the time, you if you saw like 20 vacancies, I'm sure maybe 15 of it will be sales and marketing, right?
Yeah,
So-
I remember those years, hot Nigeria jobs.
So hot Nigeria jobs.
Hot Nigerian jobs.
Hot Nigeria
Wow,
jobs.
I would get over 10, 50 mails every day. I'll be like clicking, I'll be applying. Oh my God. It's
So,
like dark ages.
sales and marketing jobs, were the jobs that were obtainable. And I think before I started my career real full time in Nigeria, I traveled to South Africa for about a year. I lived there for about a year. And when I was there, I looked around me.
But how did you get to South Africa? What happened in between?
So
From NYSC
I served, I got married, right? And I moved with my spouse to South Africa. So went South Africa and I looked around me. The obtainable career was
it was not jelly.
was sales and marketing, right?
Ah.
And this was South Africa that, imagine you're a Nigerian, right? And you're living in South Africa, you want to make money. And at the same time, I wanted to do my master's. So I worked with a real estate company. Now look at me and picture this, right? So you are in South Africa where you have the Zulus, you have the Xhosas and whatnot, and you're Nigerian, working in a real estate company, and you're trying to market.
Yeah.
So remember that South Africa is not Nigeria where you would just get out of your house, you would jump into a bus and go to wherever. You have to walk the miles to get to a standardized bus stop to take a bus. So I would go from door to door and be door knocking to say,
wow.
Gosh, good afternoon. My name is Busayo. Would you like
I'm
to
sure
buy?
some people will throw you out of their houses.
Would you like to buy or sell a property? And then the person comes and says, Busayo, where are you from? And you say, I'm Nigerian. Nigeria for sec when they would chase you away. I don't know what my Nigerian brothers did to South African people, So it was very
humiliating.
It was very humiliating. It was depressing. And mind you, it wasn't a real estate firm that was paying salary.
They didn't pay salary?
No, I would earn based on what I sell.
My God.
So it was,
what drove you to take that kind of job?
Because
you get mine though.
I can't sit still and not be in a position where I'm doing something viable, So I kept doing that. I did that still.
I said, this is busting my head.
So you never would have imagined this. It was intense.
Oh God.
How we have
even in Nigeria that would have been a difficult job. Talk about in South Africa.
So now how we have people who are evangelizing and they are going door to door to market. That was my job at the time. That was the sales and market, cold calls, man. You're knocking on people's door, you're sharing flyers, they're chasing you away. And so I did that, and then I came back to Nigeria because I was pregnant at the time.
Were you pregnant with all of that job?
So I didn't know I was pregnant. That's the funny thing. Because I was working. I remember I was on one of those instances where I was door knocking, doing everything. I just started having intense stomach pain, and my colleagues then had to take me back to the office, and I went to the hospital, and I was told I was pregnant. Wow. And prior to that, I had lost 3 pregnancies.
Wow.
So that was my cue to stop working, to stop door knocking. To stop door knocking. So,
3 pregnancies.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yes.
So you now stopped working and then came back home?
Yeah, so I stopped working. I was there a bit. I then delved into some other businesses. And the truth is, before I went to South Africa, even from when I was in the university, I had a business, La Rouge. So La Rouge Styles and Designs. If anybody had asked me, in the university if I wanted to work, I would have said no, that I was just interning because I wanted experience. Because everything that was in my head was, have your own stores, have your chain of ready-to-wears and all that. That's all I wanted to do. But unfortunately for me, so I started this business. It was thriving, even in the university. I was importing stuff. And at the time I got married, and initially lived in Port Harcourt, I went to a fashion school. I really wanted to have a fashion business. I was crazy about it, I was crazy about styling people, making it. So I did all of that, right? And when I, now had to relocate, I trusted people with that business. I trusted.
So you handed over to people?
I handed the business over to people. I handed over my stock to people. I trusted people with my stock. And imagine when you hand over stock, what's a lot, to somebody, and you're not in the country, and you're following up to get updates, and they're saying, oh, sales has been slow and all that. The funny thing is, I even wanted to sell off so that I could focus on something else, knowing I wouldn't be around. And I gave those things away at cost price. Like the margin I put on it was very minimal, right?
And what was the business?
After 3-4 months, I got an alert. Ask me how much. 8,000 naira.
For what?
I was going crazy. Like, I don't understand. I got an alert of 8,000 naira.
Who sent you the money? What was it for? For all the stock that you had?
The person I trusted with my business. So he said, oh, this 8,000 is for a top. I said, I don't understand. So you're telling me that for the past 3 months, all you have sold is a top. Long story short, I said, okay, return my stock. This person went MIA. Like, line wasn't available, unreachable, couldn't find the guy.
Wow.
Yes.
Where is he now?
Oh, well, I'm sure he's somewhere. I'm sure he's somewhere.
People are going through a lot.
I was in South Africa and I was making plans, getting Nigerian police to help me arrest someone so I could recover my goods. In fact, I think that challenge, that setback was one of the reasons why I even had to start the sales and marketing door knocking thing in SA.
Oh, that happened before the sales and marketing.
Yes, because if I was able to recoup, right, I had plans to start bringing, because I was in South Africa, I understood the market. So my plan was to start bringing in like textile, fabrics, African fabrics, and sell in South Africa because they loved it, right? But my capital was gone, was completely gone. So there was no way I could do that. And the next thing was, okay, what's next? So that was why I took that job. So on coming back, to Nigeria now, right, after I got pregnant, I became really heavy, I couldn't do all of that. And then at the time, the best decision for me was to come back home. So I came back home and then I had to restart.
So did you come back with your husband? And
Yes. So I came back with my husband and I came back. I was heavy. I came back with my husband and I was 28 weeks. I was about 28 weeks when I came back to the country. It was pretty insane.
women go through a lot when they're pregnant, to be honest.
Yes.
So how did you get back into the
corporate
job market?
space? Yeah, so I was saying that. So when I came in here and applied again, now got sales and marketing job again. So I took it. I worked for a Pan-African game company at the time, and the Pan-African game company, it gave me the opportunity to do all other things because they were into production of games that were customized to suit the Nigerian market. And at the time, the project manager was no longer there. So there was a vacuum. Somebody had to handle projects. So I filled in, and I believe I did a good job at the time. So that was how I moved, within the same company from being sales and marketing to project coordinator, and after that, and after that, the next company and the company after that, and I was functioning as a project management person. But with project management comes resource management, quality, strategy, vendor. So it was like an awesome, thing. And then from that point, I started getting recommendations, really, because the truth is, I'm grateful because in a long time, I've not had to, push my CV to people to say, so I was recommended for a role, for one role, and then another, a chief operating officer role for an NGO, and then also a country manager for an international advisory firm, and then IOD, you understand? So, and that's how my career just, started.
So let's look at your personal life now, and I ask all our guests this. What would you say has been the biggest setback or point of failure for you in your personal life? And how has it impacted your outlook to life? Why are you laughing? It's like you have a lot of it.
So yeah, I mean, so when you ask that, there's quite a lot of it, and at this point, I'm thinking, okay, what am I filtering out? Which am I? Which
This
which
is
two
a
are
tell
for
it
me?
all show. I mean,
Which two are
people
for
have
me
told
the
us the most mind-boggling revelations on this show. So
No, so okay, so for me, I think the biggest mark or the biggest experience, that shaped my growth in life was really my childhood. Was my childhood. It was my background. There were so many challenges. There were issues. So my childhood. And when I was speaking earlier, I spoke about how it really taught me how to.
how does it affect how you raise your
myself.
kids now?
So, what that has done for me is it has helped me to be a friend to my children, because I mean, millennials grew up at a time where there were so many questions you couldn't ask. We grew up at a time where you'll be told if you hug a boy, you get pregnant. We grew up at a time where you couldn't even tell your mom you had a boyfriend. So there were so many things we dealt with then as children that we could not really talk to our parents about. And probably when we talked about them, they had, created some kind of damage, So it has helped me to understand that in order to better parent my kids, I need to be their friends.
Yeah.
I need to be friends with them.
They need to be able to talk to
I need to, I need to know when to be a parent, and I need to know when to be a friend. Because when I'm a friend to them, I'm able to hear the things that they would not tell me as a parent.
Their silent thoughts.
So I would be able to joke with them about stuff, and they would respond thinking, "Oh, we're just joking," and then they're telling me the truth, So that has helped and has impacted my parenting, and it has helped me in the aspect of resilience. I don't say this too often, but I know for a fact that I'm one of the most resilient people that exist on this planet.
You have to be resilient. I mean, if you've lost 3 pregnancies, you've done door-to-door in South Africa where, xenophobia is intense in South Africa.
So why am I feeling that you're dragging me right now like a general? Because
No, I'm
not. Because you keep going back to this door knocking.
You have been through a lot. I can't imagine going door-to-door. Door-to-door sales is one of the most outrageous sales ever. That's real, literal sales. Knocking door to door in an unknown country. That's intense, right? So I've really had tremendous fun, doing this with you, and I think that very important lesson to young people is that life will bash you in multiple ways, but you must constantly pick it up and do something. I mean, even when you are doing something that looks like it's at the lowest point, the lessons from there may be the launching pad for the next place that you're going to. And it's only when you let it break you that it becomes permanent, But if you pick it up and you keep moving, there's victory at every point, and you have to celebrate those little wins. Thank you so much, Busayo, for joining us. I've had so much doing this, and I hope that you've enjoyed it too.
Yes.
Viewers, I'm glad that you joined us again today. I've had fun talking to Busayo. Busayo is COO at Pure Life, and you can see that it wasn't all rosy for her to get to a COO level. I can assure you, if you're out of the country now, going through certain phases, I know a lot of Nigerians jackpot these days, and they complain on the internet about how low it is for them. You just heard this story. If you from a family where you think that some things in your background is holding you back, you're not alone on all of these things, and that's the essence of this podcast. Until next time, when I come again with another interesting guest, remember to follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, on X, on Apple, on everywhere you go, we are there. You follow us everywhere. See you again. Bye bye.